Arachin Daf Yud Aleph, as we're going to see momentarily, there are 10 sources in the Torah that Leviim perform shira. What is shira? Machlokes Tanoim, whether it means playing a musical instrument or it means singing with your mouth. If you hold that it's a musical instrument, Tosfos points out that makes sense to the Man Da'ama that holds that you could be Mechal Shabbos and Yontiv for shira, for the instrument, because it's the raisa to play an instrument in the Beis HaMikdash. But if you hold that the shira is with your mouth, so it makes sense that playing the instrument is not necessary for a Levi to play it, and you could even have an Eved Knani, a slave, playing it. What if you hold that you need a Yisrael Miyuchas to play? That's because you hold that anybody on the stage performing in the Beis HaMikdash, people could take that as a certainty that they are Miyuchas and you could marry them, they have a good genealogy. So you have to make sure that everybody on the stage is Yisrael Miyuchas, at least. And if you hold that you need only Leviim playing the instruments, even though it's not their rights, it's because you hold that when people see someone on the stage playing an instrument, they'll give them meiser. So you have to make sure that the people on the stage are only Leviim. There's a hekesh between the shira of the Leviim and the kapara of karbanis. Just like when you bring a karban, the kapara is necessary, so too the shira is necessary. When do you perform the shira, says the Gemara? Only when you bring nesachim of wine on the mizbeach, as the pasuk says, misameach leikim. How does HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how do you give joy to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak, with the shira by the nesachim? And when you bring bikurim, according to Rashi, it's when you bring grapes into the Beis HaMikdash and you press the grapes and you create wine in the Beis HaMikdash. Otherwise, you're not allowed to just bring wine as bikurim. But since we say shira on this wine, says Tosfos, you can say shira on all shivas haminim, all 7 minim. And now we're going to jump into the 10 sources in the Torah that you see that Leviim performed shira. First source is, Shmuel says, V'sheres b'shem Hashem. How do you perform an avodah with the name of Hashem? Through singing Hashem's name. Rav Masa says, unbelievable pasuk, Tachas asher lo yavatas Hashem leikecha b'simcha v'tuv lev. Because you didn't serve Hashem with joy and happiness and a good heart. And this is the famous song, Ein Adam Shor Shira Elam Teich Simcha. This is Rashi on the spot who says that a person doesn't sing a song only if he has the proper simcha. Chizkiah says, it says in the pasuk, V'chonyo Sar Halavim b'masa yasar. It says it with a samach. Don't read it with a samach, just with a shin, yasar. Shall sing. The Rebbe says, La'avoid avoidas avoida. How do you work a working's work? Meaning that when you perform the avodah of the Beis HaMikdash, the karbanos, there's another avodah which is singing. Rabbi Yitzchak says, Su zimra utnut soif, usnu toif, that you zimra is singing. The 6th one is Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, who says, Hema yisu koilam, yaroinu is singing. 7th one is bakotev yiso, they should carry it on their shoulders. The words are extra. Yiso is a lashon of Yeshayru of Shira. Chananya ben Achi Rabbi Yeshua says Moshe Yedaber ve'Elokim Yanenu bekoil. Bekoil would be referring to singing. Rav Ashi says Meshorim, singers, Lashmiya koil echad. And the 10th and final one is Rabbi Yonason, who says V'leyamusu gam heim gam atem. The Torah is referring to the Kohanim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling the Kohanim, you're not going to die when you're performing the Avodas HaMizbeach, and not them either, not the Leviim, they're not either going to die when they perform the Avodas HaMizbeach. Leviim don't bring korbanos on the Mizbeach, so it must be referring to the singing. It says the Gemara that if a Yisrael or a Levi perform the Avodah of a Kohen, they're Chayav Misa b'dei Shomayim. And if a Kohen and a Yisrael perform the Avodah of a Levi, they're also Chayav Misa b'dei Shomayim. There are 2 avodas that Leviim perform in the Beis HaMikdash. One is Meshorim and one is Meshorim. The gatekeepers and the singers. Machlokes Tanoim, if a Levi who is supposed to be singing closes a gate, is he chayiv misa or not? And then there's another machlokes. That's if he closed the gate by himself. What if he helped his friend close the gate when he's supposed to be singing? Is there a isur midrabanan or not? You only say shira, says the Gemara, when you bring a karban, a communal karban oila, which is in a very specific time, and shlamim, which are usually kachi kalim once a year on Shavuos, the kivsei atzeres are considered a kachi kalim, kachim, shlamim become kachi. And there's a pasuk that says, Seichem shalmeichem, just like the oil is kachi, so too the shlamim, when they are kachi, that one time a year, then you perform the shira. Says the Gemara Chizkiah, asked the Bezdin whether or not he has to say Shira on the Oila. Says the Gemara, he knew exactly what day it was. He knew that you had to say Shira, but just like a Shliach Tzibur, he asked permission to start. Chizki also asked permission to start. How do we know he knew what day it was? Because it was on Tez Zayin Nisan, the day that you bring the Omer. And the day before, he ate matzah on Pesach. So he knew exactly what day it was. Says the Gemara that on a day that good things occurred, more good things are going to occur. And Chas v'Shalom, the opposite, on a bad day, bad things happen, as is famous. The two Bati Migdash were destroyed on Tisha B'Av. And the Gemara says, not only that, it was on a Sunday. Not only that, it was on Motzei Shemitah, the year after Shemitah. And the Gemara sticks in that it happened by the Mishmar of Yehoyariv. Not clear if the Gemara meant both times. At any case, says the Gemara, they were singing, even though it was on a Sunday, they were in the middle of performing the Shira of Wednesday. And they didn't get to the pasuk of Yatzmisem Hashem, that Hashem should destroy the Goyim, when the Goyim stormed in and destroyed them. Now, they weren't saying Shira with a carbon, because there was no Tamid. The Tamid stopped on Shavas B'Tammuz, so you see that you could say Shira even without a carbon. However, you're not allowed to say Shira on a carbon adava. It's better, you could say without a carbon at all, but not on a carbon adava, because people will get confused. People see that on a carbon adava, sometimes you say Shira, sometimes you don't say Shira. So let's say by a carbon chayv also, sometimes you say Shira, sometimes you don't say Shira. Have a wonderful day.